Alright, so just like we did with the blankets, but we're going to do this a little bit different. We're going to take our shiny sides, which would be the right sides of the silk, and we're going to put them front sides together. And we're going to take all those 5-inch strips that we just cut, and we're going to make them into one long continuous line just by sewing straight down. And it doesn't even have to line up perfectly, and you'll see why once I get to the end. So let's get this strip done. Doesn't matter, again, like I said, if it's straight or not for this. I mean, I try to get straight, but it doesn't have to be perfect. When you open it up, it's connected. So we're going to join all of our strips, all of our 5-inch strips together, and then I'm going to show you how to turn it into the ruffle by folding it in half. Alright, so to make a ruffle, you can get a ruffle foot. There's lots of different ways, but this is the way that I do it. On my stitch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the stitch length the farthest apart. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make my tension as tight as it can be. Actually, I just did the wrong way. I'm going to make it as tight as it can be. So I have the longest thread and the tightest tension. Now I have my 5-inch strips right here. I'm going to fold it in half. I don't even hem my ruffle yet. I'm going to fold it in half so that the silk, the right side, is facing out. And I'm going to sew along the seam. You don't back stitch for this because you want to leave your thread so you can pull it in case it doesn't get long enough, or I'm sorry, more ruffled, as ruffled as you would want it. So as you're going, you can see already right back here, it's starting to make that ruffle. So I'm going to go along this entire strip, and just by doing that little technique, it's making the ruffle along the way. And I'm going to show you after I finish. I'm just going to go straight through sewing this, and after I'm finished, I'm going to show you how I can make it a little bit more of a ruffle if I choose to. And for this one, I probably will. Although it looks like it's ruffling nice. It's ruffling nicely, if you can see the edges here. But I'm going to want it a little bit more for the blanket that I'm doing. So I'll show you how to do that after I finish sewing it through to the end. Alright, so I have my big pink ruffle here, and I wanted to show you because maybe your machine doesn't have the same kind of tension controls or the stitch like I did previously. So what you would do is you wouldn't back stitch at all for this, and you would find your string just on one side and you could pull it along. So as long as you use a large stitch, you could pull it and see how it's gathering to make that ruffle even tighter than I have, and you just kind of work it along. Using silk, this is really easy to do because it slides like crazy. So if you don't want to do it the way that I just did it, this is another alternative way to doing it without a ruffle foot as well. So you can get it, you know, as tight as you want or as far apart as you want. I like to have it a little bit tighter to make it extra ruffly, especially because I have so much here to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and finish ruffling up my ruffle, and then we're going to add it to the blanket. Alright, so let's start putting our blanket together. Here I have my gray minky. I'm putting it right side up. The right side of my blanket, this is done the same way as the beginner blanket tutorial that I have on my YouTube station as well. And I'm going to put this right face to right face. Now we have this big ruffle. And what we're going to do is we're going to start tucking it in. Where's the end? Oh, where is the end? Okay, so I haven't done anything with this yet. It's just a raw edge. And what we're going to do is we're going to tuck it in so that the ruffle is facing in. So see how I'm tucking that in? And I'm going to put a pin right there to hold this in place. And I'm going to work my way around the blanket, tucking this in so that the edges all kind of line up, putting a pin every few spots all the way around to my edges meet. Once I get to where my edges meet, I'm going to overlap them so that when we're sewing this part together, we're going to close the edges together once we are sewing the edge around. So let me go ahead, put my ruffle all the way around, and then we'll take it right to the sewing machine.